welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Chisholm and today I'm gonna be showing you how to get this soft glam makeup look. Focus, focus. This is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define in the shade C16. Put this all over my face. I just want to get that flawless base.
Every night looks every day up. Every day patches then light up. Oh God, you should match it, it's the KO.
I use a slanted foundation brush to dab it in. And I go over it in case I see any imperfection. The next thing I'm going to use is the same concealer in the shade C11.2. And all my products will be linked below. So I take this and I go under my eyes. So right in the corner and right at the edge of my eye. And I go up. I find that I like this concealer placement because it kind of lifts your eye up when you blend it out here. And then obviously like under here, it'll brighten your under eye. So I just use this brush. It's a tapered highlight brush. It's Ulta brand, and I just tap it until it's blended. I try not to spread it. I kind of just tap it. I feel like this makes it look more flawless because if you spread it, it can end up looking kind of streaky, which is not what I'm going for. So the concealer adds more dimension to the face. This side is a little bit more flat. You can see in the spaces where there's no concealer. This, you can kind of see there's some light and dark. And when you're not wearing makeup, your face has some sort of dimension. Like you can tell that it's lighter in some areas under your eye and darker in like the concave just because of like how the light hits. But when you put on like a layer of foundation, your face becomes super flat. Adding concealer brings the dimension back in. I'm gonna take the concealer and then go through the other high points of my face. So chin, cupid's bow. And then what I also like to do is prep for my nose contour at this stage. So I'll take this and go take a little bit and put them on the sides of my nose. I use the same brush and I tap it down the side. And I also go to this area of my nose and kind of carve in that shape. Putting the concealer on the side of your nose kind of aids in making your nose look smaller because the sides of your nose end up blending in with your under eye and just makes your nose look like it's more in the middle and like less of the sides. This is the Black Radiant foundation stick in the color Espresso, I believe. It looks like this. I feel like this is so hard to find like in stores, so I'm gonna link it because this is probably the best like contour that I've used. It doesn't look muddy and it like spreads out well. And I make a line right here. So you can actually kind of feel like where the placement is supposed to be. There's like all kind of a hollow in your cheeks. This is another angled brush, and what you're gonna want to do is bring it up because it lifts your cheekbones and makes them look higher. I take a concealer and put it right under where the contour was. I take the tiniest bit and I use the same tapered brush and just blend that kind of down. So what this does is it makes your contour look a lot more apparent because it's contrasting with something so light. So at this point, I want to do my brows. I'm not done contouring, but this is just what I do. I always brush them out. And if I need to, I will take one of these little razors and shape them. This is a black eyeliner pencil. I've shaved it down so much, but the brand is NYX. And I use this to fill in my brows because I like how dark it is. And I do the short hair-like strokes. These look insane, literally. So I've been cleaning them up with this shade recently. This is C14, so it's like 2 shades lighter. I just take a bit on my tiny little flat brush and I use that to really make my eyebrows very precise. You can do them however you want. I try not to make mine too thick because I don't really like how that looks on me. And I typically use my finger to blend it out. I find for these smaller spaces, fingers end up being better than a brush. Oh wait, that kind of ate.
These niggas ain't running shit. These niggas ain't doing none. Give a fuck about your piece like shit.
And what I like to do if they kind of seem too dark, because I feel like this one looks a little bit darker than this one, is I'll just go over it lightly with like, this brush since it has some concealer on, and it kind of diffuses the darkness out a little bit. The next thing I'm going to do is contour my nose. Okay, so you see how there's like a line of demarcation between this middle part and this lighter part? I go right on top of that line. I just put the brush in this. Yeah, I start from my brow.
That's what lighters do. And it comes from being. Look what money make her do. She think I'm her fantasy. Hey baby, please come do.
And I just tap it so it kind of blends out more and the line isn't so harsh.
Look what Stan make her do. Look what Tanner make her do. Look what Black make her do.
I also take my fingers because it's a smaller area.
Look what clothes make her do. Look what clothes make her do. Look what fame.
Then I go back into my concealer shade. I take this tiny flat brush that I was using before. So I'm actually gonna use this in the middle of my nose. And I just make a straight line, or as straight as I can.
Trapping like the narco, got dope like Pablo, cut dope like Pablo, chop trees with the Draco.
And then at this point, I just use one of my fingers and I just tap until it little undid. Make sure you try to keep it in that same general area and don't move it like over your contour and stuff. Okay, so this is how it's looking. You're gonna want to go back over it. And then go back over with this brush just to straighten it out, because you can kind of see that it's not super straight. Okay, so I'm satisfied with this base. This is the Lancome Long Time No Shine Powder in Translucent. And I tend to use a lot of this because I don't like looking oily or my makeup moving during the day. And I tend to keep it on for long periods of time, like 8, 9, 10 hours. I just set this on everywhere that I put like a lighter shade. So chin, Cupid's bow, under my, under here. And I use the side of the brush to go down the middle of the nose. And I'll do a couple layers of this. So while that is setting, I will actually go in and do my eyeliner. So for my eyeliner, I like to do it at this point because there's a lot of setting powder. So if I were to rest one of my fingers on my face, it won't mess up my makeup or like make a huge dent that I had to clean up later. For my eyeliner, I like it to be very, very precise and very just straight. I use tiny strokes so I don't mess up.
Trapping like the narco, got dope like Pablo, cut dope like Pablo, chop trees with the Draco, on the north got the coke.
Yeah, and I always do a little in the front.
Point blank range, give a nigga nose ring.
I don't know, I just feel like that kind of adds something different. It gives like kind of like a cat eye look. And I took the fluffy brush and I kind of just brush off the excess setting powder. I went to Ulta today and got some new goodies. Among these goodies is MAC Mineralize Skin Finish Powder. I've literally been thinking about this powder for so many years. My friend used to have it in high school and I'd always borrow it, and I was so amazed at like how smooth it looked on. This is in the shade Dark Deepest. I put this all over. It kind of just helps everything blend together and not look like, oh, it's light over here, dark over here. Now I have lashes, and honestly, lashes are so transformative. Like, they will literally make you look so much better. I don't really know what brand these are, but they are like this crisscross shape, and then they're shorter in the front, longer in the back. So if you're shopping for eyelashes, that's like what I usually look for. I don't look for specific brands or anything. Take my glue, put the tiniest a bit on the band, it'll come out. And then I typically make sure to put just a tiny bit more on each end because that's usually where they'll start to loosen. Okay, so I had to reapply this one, but oh my gosh, look at the difference. Make sure you don't apply it too close to the corner of your eye because you will feel it like when you blink. And I don't know if like that's relatable, but like I hate that feeling. So after my lashes, I use my mascara and I put it on, and I use this to blend my natural lashes and the falsies. So I go into my Fine Feather palette, which I've been using for blush, and I'm gonna take this shade. It's called Take a Gander. I'm only gonna use a tiny bit since this is technically soft glam, but I usually do like the really blushy look. And I put it on top of where my contour was or is, and I like go like more up instead of just keeping it on the apples of my cheek. I feel like that like lends to give you that more snatched effect. So just the tiniest bit. This is the Perfect Precision eyeliner in dark brown from LA Girl. I just got it. I overlined my top lip just the tiniest bit. I'll go a little bit over just to make my lips look more full. And then I just take any lip gloss and put it over. This is the Physicians Formula Mineral Wear Lip Plumper. I'll either use this or like just regular Beauty Supply lip gloss. This is the Black Radiance True Complexion Contour Palette. It looks scary, but I take this highlight shade, and that's typically what I use to highlight. So I take a smaller brush. I do my Cupid's bow, my nose contour. I'm done. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that this video was helpful. Bye.